Imagine an absolutely ordinary and quiet night. You wake up with a slight feeling of thirst or simply go to the bathroom. Your house is sleeping. All around reigns a total silence, interrupted only by your slow and sleepy footsteps on the cold floor. You approach the door, reach out your hand for the switch. Click! The light instantly floods the room with a bright and blinding stream. And in exactly that fraction of a second, when your eyes haven't even had time to adapt to the light, you see it. On the snow-white tile floor, right near the baseboard, something moves. It's lightning fast. It's silver. It looks like it just crawled out of a prehistoric ocean. The light hits your eyes. The shadow twitches. The creature freezes for a moment and then starts to run frantically from side to side, trying to hide in the nearest crack. You take a step back. Your brain sounds the alarm instantly. Your heart races. Your breath catches. Your hand automatically searches for something heavy. A slipper, a rolled up magazine, a towel, or a can of toxic bug spray. It is perfectly understandable why your hand reaches for a weapon. Your brain says it's an enemy, and this is an absolutely justified evolutionary reaction to any fast, unknown, and frankly scary creature in your personal space. After all, its body shape, flat, scaly, with long antennas in the front and 3 strange appendages in the back, makes it look like an alien parasite. You raise your slipper, ready to strike and end this encounter once and for all. But stop. Freeze for exactly 1 second. Lower your weapon and just look at this agitated silver drop. Because right now, in this exact moment, you are about to make a huge mistake. Before declaring war and crushing this defenseless creature, you need to know something critically important about your own home. By destroying it, you are not just killing a harmless neighbor on this planet. You are eliminating with your own hands your best natural defense, your free alarm, which right now is desperately trying to warn you about a real, hidden, and extremely destructive threat that has already settled in your walls. But before we reveal the name of this real and invisible monster, let's deal with the fear that makes you hold your shoe up high. Remember, who told you those stories about silverfish when you were a child? Who convinced you that every insect in the bathroom is a carrier of deadly diseases? Maybe it was kids at a summer camp whispering in the dark that these silver bugs crawl into your ears while you sleep and feed on your brain. Or neighbors who guaranteed they bring infections from the sewer. Think about it for a second. Turn on your logic. What is it going to do to you? Scare other bacteria to death with its silver suit? Bite your skin with its microscopic jaws that can barely handle an old sheet of paper? This demonization is so deeply rooted in our culture that we don't even ask ourselves questions. We just blindly destroy everything that has more than 4 legs and doesn't know how to purr. But here is the part nobody ever tells you. The silverfish is not just another household pest. It is a true crawling time capsule, a living relic that remembers the world even before the appearance of the first trees, not to mention the dinosaurs. Imagine the scale. Over 400 million years ago, when life was just beginning to crawl en masse from the primordial oceans onto land, the ancestors of this very creature were already running over prehistoric stones. They survived asteroid strikes. They survived ice ages. They survived the splitting of continents and the extinction of the tyrannosaurs. They are nature's silver torpedoes, having developed the perfect survival strategy millions of years before the first ape picked up a stick. And now this masterpiece of evolutionary resilience is sitting on your bathroom mat, and you want to crush it with a piece of cheap rubber. Let's take a closer look at it. Without panic and without prejudice. It has no stingers. It has no venom glands. Its body does not produce toxins capable of causing allergies, burns, or irritation. It doesn't bite people. It doesn't bite your pets. It doesn't carry any known human diseases. In fact, from a biological standpoint, this creature is much cleaner and safer than your own smartphone, which you press against your face every day. Its silver color and strange shine are not slime, as many disgustingly assume. They are thousands of perfectly fitted microscopic scales that cover its body like high-tech armor. These scales are so smooth that they allow it to escape from the paws of predators as if it were coated in the perfect lubricant. It doesn't fly. It doesn't jump on your head. Its only defense in this huge and scary world is speed and the ability to hide. So, what is it doing in your house if it doesn't plan to kill you? And this is where another great myth arises. People think insects come into the house exclusively to drink our blood or steal fresh food from the table. But the silverfish has completely different gastronomic preferences. It is a microscopic garbage bin, a tireless cleaner of your invisible trash. Its perfect dinner is carbohydrates, starches, and complex sugars. What does this mean in practice? It feeds on microscopic particles of dead skin which we shed by the thousands every day. It eats dandruff. It picks up crumbs invisible to the human eye. It can feed on the glue on the back of your old wallpaper, cellulose rents, dust mites, and even mold. Yes, you heard that right. This little prehistoric machine is capable of eating fungal spores that could end up in your lungs. just doing its job, working the night shift, silently, invisibly, and completely free of charge. And now, the most interesting part. The time has come to reveal the very secret that made me ask you to lower your slipper at the beginning of our story. Why did the silverfish choose your bathroom in the first place? Why is it sitting near the baseboard instead of being somewhere outside under a rock? The fact is that its body structure has a critical and vital nuance. To survive, for its perfectly tuned body to keep functioning, it needs moisture. A lot of moisture. They cannot live in a dry and well-ventilated environment. Their thin shells lose water quickly and they die. Therefore, if you constantly see these little silver messengers in your house, they are screaming a terrible truth in their silent language. There is a hidden and dangerous moisture in your home. Where you see only a funny or scary insect, ecology sees a red flag. Your private biological security network has just been triggered. The silverfish is a living, infallible hygrometer. Its presence means that somewhere behind your tiles, under your linoleum, in the dark cavities beneath the bathtub, or in corners where the sun never shines, water is accumulating slowly and silently. Maybe it's an imperceptibly leaking pipe. Maybe the waterproofing has developed an invisible crack. Or the ventilation has long been clogged with dust and can no longer handle its single function. And here we come to the real monster. The real threat this ancient guardian is trying to warn you about is black mold and rot. While you run around the apartment with a fly swatter, wasting your energy on an absolutely harmless insect, a real killer is growing silently in your walls. The fungus. Black mold doesn't just ruin the appearance of the wallpaper. It is a silent aggressor that destroys the integrity of building materials, turning solid wooden beams into dust. But worse, it destroys your health. The invisible mold spores rise into the air you breathe every second. They settle in your lungs. They cause chronic coughs, severe allergies, constant fatigue, and even bronchial asthma, especially in young children. This true enemy doesn't run across the floor. It doesn't have shiny scales. It acts stealthily, poisoning your space day after day. If this story just changed your attitude towards what happens in your home, leave a like and subscribe, because nature is full of creatures that seem terrifying right up until the moment you discover their main secret. Think about this for a second from a common sense and logic point of view. Imagine that a loud and annoying fire alarm went off in your house. The siren howls, the red light flashes. It won't let you sleep. It makes your heart beat faster. What are you going to do? Are you going to grab a hammer to smash this alarm to pieces simply because its sound irritates and scares you? No. You are going to look for the source of the smoke. You are going to put out the fire. So destroying silverfish with chemical sprays or crushing them underfoot is exactly the same thing as smashing the fire alarm with a hammer. You remove the indicator, you kill the messenger who brought the bad news, but you leave the problem itself intact. The mold will continue to grow. The pipe will continue to leak. The foundation will continue to crumble. You will spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on repairs that could have been avoided if you had just listened to nature. So, what should you do when you encounter this silver night traveler in your bathroom again? What action plan should a person who now understands the rules of the game choose? The answer is simple and requires no violence on your part. Lower the slipper. Put away the toxic spray that poisons the air in your apartment worse than any pest. First, let the creature escape. It is much more afraid than you are. It weighs a fraction of a gram, and you are to it like a skyscraper that suddenly came to life and started emitting light. Let it hide. And the next day, start some real detective work. Check all the pipes under the sink to see if there is condensation or microscopic drops of water. Inspect the joints between the bathtub and the wall to see if the sealant hasn't cracked, if it isn't letting water through every time you take a shower. Clean the ventilation grills of the thick layer of dust blocking the flow of moist air. Buy a dehumidifier if you live in a humid climate. Open the bathroom door after taking a hot shower to allow the steam to dissipate quickly, instead of settling as a sticky layer on all surfaces. Start fighting the cause and not the symptom. And you will see the magic. As soon as you remove the source of excessive moisture, as soon as your house becomes dry and healthy, these prehistoric silver guardians will simply disappear. They will leave on their own, without a single drop of poison, without a single strike of a towel. They will have nothing left to do in your home, as the conditions will become unsuitable for them. They will retreat in search of a different, more humid environment, leaving your space safe for you. Our homes are not sterile space stations flying in a vacuum. No matter how well we close the doors and how well we seal the windows, we remain part of a huge and incredibly complex ecosystem. Life will always find a way. It will seep through cracks, fly through open windows, be brought in on the soles of our shoes. And instead of declaring a relentless and absolutely senseless war on every creature that dares to cross our doorstep, we can choose a different path. The path of understanding, the path of observation. This silverfish on your floor is not a monster from your nightmares. It is a witness to eras when mountains were just forming and oceans were full of never-before-seen monsters. It is a brilliant masterpiece of evolution, a perfect recycling mechanism that accidentally ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. It means you no harm. It just wants to survive in a world where everything tries to eat it or crush it. They bump into walls, they flee from the light, they hide in the darkness. But the next time you meet this creature's gaze, your brain will no longer scream in irrational fear. You will not see a threat. You will feel respect for a survivor that has overcome millions of years of harsh, natural selection. You will smile, turn off the light, and go check the pipes. Because now you know the truth. Now you understand that the best way to protect your home is not blind destruction, but a deep understanding of the messages that nature leaves us under our feet every day. Leave the irrational fear in the past. Allow science and empathy to guide your actions, and you will see how wonderful, harmonious, and full of hidden meanings the world surrounding us is at every second of our journey.